Good morning, everyone. I am Sarah Simon. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am coming to you from a very chilly Appleton, Wisconsin. Oh my goodness, last night was just crazy. I could not believe the wind. I felt like my whole house was going to blow away. I didn't even want to bring Lila out to go potty because I was afraid she was going to blow away. Good morning, Karen Karst. I have, oh gosh, there's a lot of people. Kathy. Hi, Mom. Shirley, Kay, got a bunch of people jumping on here. Um, I hope that I am okay. I am on YouTube. I am also on Facebook. I'm trying to do both at the same time again. Good morning, Shanna. Shanna, I did not get over to your daughter's house yet because it was crazy last night. So, for those of you who are not from Wisconsin, we had what were called snow squalls last night, which visibility can like change in an instant. There was a huge, I think, accident somewhere out by Wausau where there was a pileup, and it was because all of a sudden the wind picked up and there was snow and you just couldn't see anything in front of you. And so it was very, very dangerous. So this morning the wind chill is negative 19. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 48. So you can have almost a 70-degree change in Wisconsin in 24 hours. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow because Lila might actually get a WALK tomorrow. So good morning, Linda. Let's see who else we have jumping on. Good morning, Kelly, and Betty and Julie Schulke. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. So today we are going to do another one of our creative challenges. For those of you who are new to my page, what a creative challenge is I am going to be creating 2 cards today using the exact same fun fold. Usually it's a fun fold or it's a layout. Today it happens to be a fun fold. I will post the directions along with pictures of the cards that I made on a different post on Facebook right after this. If you make a card with that exact same fun fold and you post a picture of it before next week Saturday, then you will be entered into a drawing to win the free bundle of your choice. And you can pick that bundle from anything that's an active right now. So it can be from the January to June catalog. It can be from the annual catalog, wherever you would like to pick it. So anyway, I have my cozy sweatshirt on today. This is the sweatshirt from the women's retreat that I was on a couple of weekends ago, and it is so nice and soft and so cozy that this morning as I was getting dressed, I'm like, I need to put that on because it's just so nice and warm on this cold day. Good morning, Tammy and Dee. It's so nice of you to join me. So, like I said, we're going to do the creative challenge. I found this from a demonstrator named Susan Cantfield. She's from Minnesota, and she had done, I think, 5 or 6 cards on her Facebook. I think it was Facebook or YouTube. It might have been YouTube Live. I did not copy any of her cards. I did all cards that were unique for me. So if you look her up, you would be able to see 5 other cards, 5 or 6, plus the 4 that I'm going to show you today. You'll get a wide variety of ways that you can use this fold. So let me do my happy mail because I've got lots of it. Then we'll do prizes, and then we will get to stamping. So last week I showed you all of the cards that I got in a swap. This was the last one that came. This is so funny. The woman who sent this, we were supposed to put them in the mail by February 2nd. So she put them in the mail on February 2nd and went on a trip. And she came home and one of them was returned to her because it didn't have a stamp. So she posted a picture of it and she said, I'm really sorry, I did get these in the mail on time. This one just came back to me. I don't know where the other ones are. Well, I received mine. It did not have a stamp on it. I have no idea how it came to my house. It didn't say postage due or anything up on your end, but I'm freezing up on my computer. So I'm going to open this back up again. I don't know if it is, I don't know if it's my internet with the wind and stuff. I have no idea. So if I'm freezing, I'm sorry. So this was another one of those all together cards. Then I received this beautiful thank you from Cheryl McClure. I think Cheryl might be from Wyoming. Look at that. It's that color and contour. Isn't that pretty? And it's a fun fold. It is froze, Kelly. Is it still froze or did it refresh? I'm just wondering if I'm still live. I look live on my end, but it froze for a while here. Is it still freezing every once in a while or is it good now? I don't know. I don't know if it's the wind or what, because it is still kind of windy here this morning. So I'm going to keep going because on mine, I look like I'm live on YouTube and on Facebook. So, okay, so it lost and then it came back. Okay, if everybody refreshes, then I think you should be good. Okay, so this was a beautiful card. Technology is so great when it works, right? Then I received this beautiful Valentine. Look at that cute little robot. I'm nuts and bolts about you. And this is from my friend Becky Fulch. And isn't that just a cute card? Thank you so much, Becky, if you are watching. And last week I had my stamp club. And one of the ladies in my stamp club brought me this beautiful Valentine's card. It says Happy Valentine's Day inside of it. So it's a mix of some Stampin' Up! Stuff and some non-Stampin' Up! Papers and some little gems. And look at how cute that is. All right, then I came home on Valentine's Day and found this beautiful card. Look at those scraps of paper that she put together to make that card. Is that not gorgeous? And then this was, I crossed out her address so that you didn't get this, but this was the envelope that it was in. Ms. Tammy Marquardt. And then she works at this awesome candy store. And so she had in it, I ate 2 of them, but these wonderful chocolate meltaways from Vanderwell's Candy here in Appleton, Wisconsin. And I had to break into them. I had one on Valentine's Day and I had one last night when I was designing. It gave me what I needed to do to get my cards done. So thank you so much, Tammy. And then I received this card from another one of my customers, Cindy. She came over on, I think it was maybe Tuesday. No, it might have been Wednesday because Tuesday I had an online class with my club. But she had this, and then she had, I'm using it right now. It's one of those round lights that I have clipped to my computer to give me more light. And then she had a bag that had this in it. I had never seen this before. It's Simon Hurley. It's a stamping foam. She sent me a video. I'm going to try it today. Evidently what you do is you like take a hairdryer and you get this hot. And once you get it hot, you can take something like an embossing folder and you can press it on the embossing folder and make a stamp out of it so that then you can go ahead and you can stamp on your cards what's on your embossing folder. I had never seen this before. She said it's something new, so I'm going to go ahead and try it. And then what you can do is clean it afterwards and you can heat it again and then you can reuse it over and over again. So thank you, Cindy, and I will give that a try as well. All right, so lots and lots of happy mail. Thank you all so much. Next, I want to get to prizes. So last week we did the Scrappy strips technique, and we used that all together stamp set that's still available. And then we did this beach card. My mom was so funny. She saw me and she said, I looked at those stamps that you were going to use, and I'm like, what in the world is she going to do with those? And she could not believe that those stamps could make a card that looked like a beach scene. So for commenting last week and receiving these is Kelly Perpich. And I think I saw Kelly on here. You made a comment before. So Kelly, these will be coming your way. I have the envelopes sitting over here and they are ready to go out today because I did not get last week's out. I had meetings, I had my clubs, I had all of that kind of stuff after school every night this week, so I did not get to the post office. So all of last week's and this week's are all ready to go today, as soon as I'm done here. So I'm going to set it over there right by the envelope. Then for sharing, so if you hit share and you share it on your Facebook page or you share it with a friend, you get put into a drawing. And receiving, these are called the adhesive backed hexagons, and it's black, petal pink, and just jade are the colors that are in here. And receiving this for sharing last week is Dia Splana. I think I saw Dia on here too. Dia, I don't know if I have, yep, I do see you. I don't know if I have your address. So if you could send me a private message. I don't have your envelope done yet because I couldn't find your address. So if you could send it to me, I will get these off in the mail to you as well. And then for placing an order, oh my goodness, the orders that came in this week, I think because it's towards the end of celebration and everyone's like, I want to get this stuff in. I want to tell you, there are quite a few things from the January to June catalog that are on back order right now. A lot of them are coming in this next week or the week after. So I don't know if they'll be in by the end of celebration, but we all know what's going on with all of the supply issues and stuff like that going around. So for placing an order last week and receiving this fun stamp set that's called Kite Delight, and I've made a couple of cards already with this Kite Delight, is Shanna Roberts. And Shanna, I have your butterflies that I was going to run over to your daughters for you. And what I did was ended up just weighing this together, and I have the envelope ready to go to put in the mail to you. So I will just get it in the mail to you because I didn't know when you were going to be here, and with the weather being the way it was, I didn't even know if you were for sure going to be coming. So I will get that in the mail to you, and it's all set and ready to go out. So thank you so much, everybody, for participating. I am ready to go ahead and turn this around, and we will get going on our creative challenge. Let's see here. There we go. I need to get my overhead light. I'll get that turned off, and I'm plugged in, so I should be good to go. I like to make sure that I don't have any shadows. There's a really big delay here. Let me just make sure I'm still live. Am I still live? Are you still there? Let me see here. I show that I'm live. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness. There we go. Now I see my hands. There's a huge delay today. Maybe that's why it was like slowing down before. I have no idea. Anyhow, we are going to do a creative challenge. I do not have all my layers cut because I wanted to cut this with you to show you how to make these cards. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in here, and I'm going to start with, this is Mossy Meadow for our first card. And what you want to do is you want to cut this at 4 1/4 on the 8 1/2 inch side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it at 4 1/4, line it up there, and give it a cut. Okay, then on one of them, you want to cut at 5 1/2. So I'm going to bring this over to 5 1/2, and I'm going to cut that. I do not use this piece. So this piece we don't use. I'm going to bring this 4 1/4 by 11 back in here again. Now I want to get my cutting blade out of the way. I am going to, let me put this here, I am going to score at 2 inches and at 3 3/4 inch from each end of the 11 inch side. So I'm going to line this up at 2, and I'm going to score, and then I'm going to score at 3 3/4. Okay, then I'm going to flip this over on the other side, and I'm going to score at 2 and 3 3/4. Pretty easy, right? That isn't too bad. I'm going to put my trimmer off to the side while we make our card. Now, you are also going to need, and I am using, today I decided I really wanted to focus on some of the things in Celebration because we only have a full week of Celebration left. And so in this first card, we are going to be, featuring papers today. So the first card we're going to be featuring this Daffodil Afternoon paper, which is just gorgeous. It pairs really nicely with our daffodil dies and with our daffodil stamp set. But I think it's called Daffodil Delight is the stamp set. But we are going to just be using the papers today with a different stamp set. All right, so what I need to do is I need to start from each of these sides that are in towards the center. I am going to fold those in first, and I need to get a bone folder here. This bone folder is pretty nasty. I had used it to spread around some ink. Don't do that. It gets kind of gross even after you clean it. Okay, then I'm going to slip this one back. Okay, and notice that this is just a little bit longer, and it should be that way. Okay, then I'm going to fold this one in. And then I'm going to fold this one back. And those two should match up in the center there. I don't even know what Susan called this, but that is what we're going to be using for our fun fold piece. Okay, before I add this to here, I want to take some designer series paper, and I am going to be using this from the Daffodil. It's like that pale papaya, and it's got some very vanilla little speckles in it. And I always like to add this to the card, and I have to get some glue here. Used my glue over to my work area, and this is sitting here from Stamp Club last week, so we'll see how well this works. I may have to throw a little pin in it. Oh yeah, they did. When they close them up, they work, and I didn't check everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, on each end of this flat piece, I'm going to make an even border around these three sides, as even as I can get it, and place that down. I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. And the reason I did this first on mine, you could go ahead and you could do it after you put the folding piece on it, but I found it was easier for me to center that folding piece if I had these two strips of paper already down. Okay, so you could do this after, but I found it easier. This little piece is going to set right inside of here. Now, I found it easier to take this middle piece and hold it up like this and glue all of this. And here's where liquid glue is your friend because if you don't set it down even the first time, you can kind of wiggle around a little bit. And I'm going to stand up so I can get over the top of this. So this edge and this edge, I want to have an equal distance from each of my pieces of designer series paper, and then the top and the bottom I want to line up with my card base. So that's looking pretty good there. I'm going to go ahead and give that a good fold, and then this is going to fold down like that. So our card's going to open like this, and it's going to be able to stand up on its own. Okay, then you need a front piece of cardstock that's 3 3/4 inches by 4 inches. And I decided to do mine in pale papaya. Okay, so there is a right way. These are not, it's not square. It's 1/4 inch from being square. So this would be the way that I would put that on there. Now in both of them, I'm doing something just a little bit different. So in this one, I'm letting most of the designer series paper use the work and doing very little stamping. In my next card, I'm going to let the stamping do the work, and I'm going to do more stamping in that one. For this one, I decided I really loved this. Oh, is that not gorgeous? So what I did was I cut a piece of this that is just 1/8 of an inch smaller. So it's like 1/16 of an inch all the way around. So if this was, and I didn't write these down because every one of my cards is just a little bit different. So if this is 3 3/4 by 4, this would be 3 5/8 by 3 7/8. So it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this. Make sure that I'm still in the camera. And then I only want this attached to this side. So I'm going to put my glue on that side so I don't accidentally put a little bit too much glue or put it too far on that other piece of pale papaya. I am just going to set that. And again, I want it centered on that piece. Okay, so now it opens like that. Okay, following me so far? I think that's pretty easy. Then I'm going to take that same designer series paper. So those first pieces were 3/4 by 4. I'm going to take 2 pieces that measure 1.5 by 4, and I'm going to place them right inside of here, just to add a little of that color to the inside of this card. Okay, and then the other one is going to go on this side so that when it is standing up, you see that color coming through. All right, so on this card, I use the same DSP. On my next one, I'm going to use a different, I'm going to use one here, and I'm going to use a different one on the inside. Okay, this piece right here is our inside cardstock. So that is 3¼ by 4. And I did Very Vanilla because the background of this is in Very Vanilla. And I decided I wanted to take a little strip of this, since I have the polka dot paper on either side. I wanted the floral paper to be on the inside. And I just kept it, so this was the width. I kept it that way, and I decided I was just going to trim off what I didn't use. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some glue on that. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of that Very Vanilla showing at the bottom. And again, I know this is longer than I need. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper scissors, not my ribbon one, because I have a ribbon one marked now. And I'm just going to trim that off. Now, I thought that the stamp set, and I can't even remember the name of it. It's on my, let me see if I can get it. It's on my, here it is. It's called Happy and Heartfelt. Happy and Heartfelt. It has really, really cool sayings. And I'm going to use on the outside, we have to celebrate this. And on the inside, I'm going to put all day your way. So we're celebrating someone, we're celebrating something that someone did, and we're going to do it all day and the way they want to. Thought that was a really, really cute saying. So I'm going to stamp this on the inside, and I'm using Mossy Meadow ink. Should probably stand up to make sure I get that straight, but I think I did a pretty darn good job for not standing up and getting over the top of it. And that is going to go on the inside. Now, I really wanted this just to kind of let the designer series paper, because it is so beautiful, I wanted that to do most of the work. So in both of my cards today, I'm using one of these tailor-made tags. So, am I back? I think I'm back. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm freezing up, ladies. You may have to refresh again. I'm not sure. I'm really, really sorry. I don't know if it's my internet. I don't know if it's because I'm on YouTube and on Facebook, and it's more than my internet can handle. But, okay, it keeps freezing, and then it comes back, and then it's freezing, and it's back. So, I don't know if I should just keep going or if it's annoying. I don't know what's going to happen with the playback, but I really, really apologize. And like I said, it could be the wind. Who knows? Okay, I'm going to keep going, and I'll just kind of watch it. And if I get disconnected, I'll come back on. Like I said, I was using the tailor-made tags. There's 2 different designs. In this first card, we're going to use the second to smallest one of the rounded one. And this one, we're going to use the biggest one of the one that's more squared off. So I already, through the magic of TV, I cut 2 of these tags. I did one in the pale papaya to bring that color in, and the other one is in Very Vanilla. So, okay, everyone's telling me to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Thank you. Also, in those tags, we have these little, it's kind of like a strengthener for around the hole. And I did that in Mossy Meadow. So I cut one for the sample that I made, and I had a couple of left over. And so I am going to just go ahead and glue that onto, I just need a little dab of glue. Everyone keeps telling me to go, so I'm going to keep going. Because I think the playback, if you miss something, I think the playback should be fine. That's at least what I've been finding. So, okay, so there is that. I am going to overlap this, but before I do that, I'm going to stamp that greeting. We have to celebrate this. Now I'm going to stand up. I got to get it on this tag, and it's a little bit of a tight fit. Ooh, that looks pretty darn good. I'm doing all right this morning, other than my internet going in and out. All right, what I am going to do next, I'm going to put these stamps back in here. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on the bottom of this. I'm going to line up those circles, and I'm just going to offset these tags just a little bit. That looks pretty good. And then we've got this pale papaya sheer ribbon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of that off. A little piece of paper on there yet. And I'm going to actually run this through. So I'm going to make it in like a little loop. I'm going to pull that through. This was really easy yesterday. Oh no, I didn't do it that way. Sorry. I'm thinking of the next card is how I did that way. I just pulled this through and I tied it in a knot. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tie it once. Okay, and I want that to be up and down because I want to tie it a second time. And if I have it up and down now, and then I tie it, it will go sideways. Does that make sense? I want this to be sideways. So I'm going to have a knot, and I'm just going to trim off that ribbon. Okay. Now I am going to bring my card in, and I'm just going to place that on here. And again, I'm letting for the most part, I'm letting the paper do the work, and I'm adding very little to the paper because that designer series paper is so darn beautiful. And it's kind of busy, so you don't want to do too much because it is sort of busy. So all I'm going to do is add that onto there. We have to celebrate this all day your way, and it will stand up for you. Okay, so it's a card that will stand up, but yet it's a fun fold, and it fits into an envelope. Actually, speaking of envelopes, we should do an envelope. Let me grab one here. I want a very vanilla one, and let me see, I have a piece of the DSP here. I'm just going to trim this a little because I don't want to use too much of it. Okay, there was way more there than 6 inches, so I had to cut that off. Let's go ahead, and you could either put this or you could put the other one. Ooh, that's pretty too. We could have matched it up with that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the floral. I could have used the polka dotted one too, but this is pretty. We'll go ahead and stick that on there. I don't even know if the flowers are going the right way. Don't know if it matters. It's an envelope, right? And then we will trim that off so that we have a matching envelope with our fun fold card. There we go. How pretty is that? So if you have somebody who just got a new job, or you have somebody who is celebrating something special, and then we want to really focus on them. It could be a birthday, really, too. We have to celebrate it. It's their birthday, it's their 50th, or it's their 60th, or whatever it might be. Notice I'm over 50. I didn't say 40, but it could be a 40th as well. Okay, so that is our first card with our creative challenge. I'm going to set this stuff out of the way. I'll bring this back in here so that we have, oh, you know what? I did have some gems too. I have some of these are called, I think they're called perennial gems. These are they are pale papaya. Ooh, it stuck in my thing. Let's just put a couple of these smaller ones on here. There we go. Just to add a little bit of bling to it. All right. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Barbara, I am too. I'm always looking for some different folds. You know, it's fine to put a card in just like a normal fold. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm always looking for different layouts. So how I could design the card, or like this, I'm looking for a different fold. Okay, let me get this stuff out of here. I have a lot of cleaning to do, and I just cleaned last week, so it's a good thing that it was at least somewhat clean when I got started. We are going to use Magenta Madness for our next card. Ooh, look at that bright pink with all those lights. It looks really bright. And we are going to pair that. We're going to use this Cactus Cuties stamp set. Now, the design on the front is something that I found online, but I'm using it with this different fold. So I'm using it a different way than the person who had originally designed the card. So we're going to be using Cactus Cuties. So I wanted to cut this also for you so you could, again, see how easy it is to cut for this fun fold. So I'm going to, on the 8.5 inch side, I'm going to cut at 4 1/4. Okay, I'm going to set this piece aside. I'm going to use that for my folding piece. I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2. This is going to be my base. This I don't use, so I'm only not using that 1/4. I'll use it maybe for some other things because we're going to put like some flowers we're going to punch, and we're going to do our greeting is going to be on that. Okay, now I'm going to get my cutting blade out of the way. I'm going to use my scoring blade or scoring piece, and I'm going to score at 2 3 3/4 from that end. And 2 3 3/4. Almost grabbed the cutting blade. All right, I'm going to put that aside, and I have the pieces that I need for my fold. Okay. Good morning, Mary. And Mary. I've got 2 Marys that popped on here. I'm going to go ahead and fold this in. Okay, so we're going to fold in and then out. And I'm going to fold the other side in and then that other piece out. Okay. So I have my folding mechanism, and this is just going to be going on here. Before I add it, again, I find that it's a lot easier to add my, Designer Series paper. So in this card, I'm going to be using the rainbow paper. So again, I'm using all paper that is in Celebration. You can get this for free with a $50 order. So if you really like this Cactus Cutie, you could get that bundle. It comes with a punch. Over $50. I don't think it was. The bundle anyway. Okay, so I'm going to add that on that side again. I'm just trying to make it so that those borders around those 3 sides are the same. And that makes it a little bit easier for me to put down the that middle folding piece. It helps me to center it a little bit better. Okay, so I've got that again. Try to get the even, and then I'm going to, because it can wiggle around a little bit, and I'm going to stand up. And again, I'm looking to make this side and this side an equal distance from the designer paper on either end. And the top and the bottom, I'm going to line up with the top and the bottom of that card. They should be exactly the same because they're 4 1/4 each. Okay, and I'm going to give that a good press. And I'm going to give that a good press. Okay, this time for my inside pieces, this is going to be used a little bit later in the card, I'm going to be using this little rainbow paper that I'm going to put on each of these sides because I'm going to be using that on the front of my card. So I wanted to use that for the inside. I wanted to bring that on into the inside. So that's just going to go on that strip. And this one's going to go on this strip. This fold really isn't that difficult. It's a pretty easy one to do. And you really, if you didn't want to put designer series paper here, you could put something and you could stamp something on that area if you wanted to. Okay, our inside again. I think this is my inside piece. Okay, my inside piece is 3 1/4 by 4. And this is the piece that I had. This is the color that I had on the outside. So I decided to bring that to the inside. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of glue. And I'm just going to let a little bit of the white show on the bottom there. Oh, thanks, Karen. Yeah, it was bright and cheery. Very, very bright. And actually, I think my camera makes it look a... Am I freezing? I think I am freezing. I don't know why it keeps freezing, ladies. I have no idea. I know other demonstrators had a difficult time going on, but I think this is either freezing up on my computer or my Wi-Fi because it's freezing on my end too, not just on Facebook. So I apologize. Okay, oh, you know what? I shouldn't have put this down. With the freezing, I completely forgot that I was going to stamp something on here too. All right, I'm going to stamp. I'm going to unload some of this stuff here. I'm going to use one of the pots in that Cactus Cuties. I wouldn't recommend. I'm going to just keep going, ladies, because I don't know why I'm freezing up and then starting again. So I am going to take one of these pots, and again, I would have stamped this before gluing it down. Okay. Luck is on my side here. So far it looks okay. And then I'm just going to take this really short floral piece, and I like to use a little cushion thing, but it turned out okay. All right, I'm just going to have that on the inside. Okay, I'm going to close these until I'm ready to stamp the rest of my cactuses. I just wanted to get that inside piece done. Okay, now for the outside, I took a piece of Granny Apple Green and I ran it through the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. Okay, so you can kind of see that there's some embossing on there. So that's going to be my front. I did feel like it needed something a little bit stronger because this was embossed. And so my front piece that I used, this is 3 3/4 by 4. Okay, so that's going to be there. And then I'm just going to put this on top of that. Okay, so that little bit of white kind of makes it pop a little bit. And I wanted to bring that rainbow color in. And so that card that I had seen online that I said I kind of copied from that person, I can't even remember who that was. They had a piece of the rainbow going across the front, and I thought that looked really cool. They didn't have this embossed or anything. that was something I decided to do. So I'm going to go ahead and add this rainbow piece to the basic white. I almost called it whisper white. It's been a long time since it's been whisper white. Okay, then I'm going to attach that. I gotta make sure I have this the right way because it isn't a perfect square. Okay, and I'm gonna just put that down. I don't want it smack dab center, because then people are looking and saying, oh, she doesn't have it quite center. Or I would be looking at it saying that. Other people would probably be fine with it. We're our own worst critics, right? So I'm going to put it a little bit more towards the bottom so it doesn't look like I'm trying to center it at all. Okay, and then I'm going to attach that to that basic white. And again, this is just, if this is 3 3/4 by 4, this is 3 5/8 by 3 7/8, just like the last card. And so that's just a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. So it's a pretty tight fit there for you. Okay, and then this is again going to go just on the left-hand side. So I always put my glue on there so I know how far I can go over. I do leave a little bit of an edge around the outside because there is a little bit of a border. And the glue does spread. So I don't want it to spread to where I have my border. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a good press. Okay, and there is our basic card. All right, now what we're going to put on the front, because we don't have all of that designer paper that's like doing all the work for us, we're actually going to be doing some stamping. So like I said, I'm going to bring that largest tag, but when I was looking at this, I wanted to kind of put it on an angle, but it was still too big. So what I did was I went and I cut the entire tag. Here's the little piece that I took off of it. So I cut the entire tag, and then what I did was I lined up those little stitching. I could kind of feel it in here. Okay, I was kind of pressing it right inside the little holes that are there. And then I ran it through should go this way. It actually was this way. I ran it through and just ran it as far as where this is to cut this little part off. So I fed it in this way to make my tag a little bit shorter. Now you might be asking, why didn't you just use the smaller tag? Well, the smaller tag wasn't wide enough. That's about the length I wanted, but it wasn't wide enough for what I wanted to do. So I wanted to have the width of this tag, but I wanted to have it shorter. So I just cut this little bit off. This was down here. I cut that off and just made it the size that I wanted it. Okay, on here, I am going to do some stamping, and then I'm also going to be doing some stamping on some scrap paper and cutting some of them. So I wanted to have one pot with a cactus that is just stamped on here, and then I wanted one that was going to be raised up with dimensionals. And so that same pot that I used on the inside with my Magenta Madness ink, I'm actually going to use as my one that stamps, because the punch doesn't cut this pot out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp that sort of towards the bottom. And I'm going to stamp it a little bit off because I want my other pot to be able to come over here. And so I knew I had to stamp it off just from looking at what this other person did online and from playing with it myself and making a card myself. Okay, I'm going to close up the Magenta Madness because I'm done with that. Okay, then I'm going to take this big cactus. This one we do not have a punch to punch out. So if I wanted to cut this out, I would have to fussy cut it, and I did not want to have to fussy cut. So this is going to be my one that I am stamping right down on the paper, and then the stuff that I actually have a punch for, I will raise up. Okay, so I have part of the cactus is off the side. That's all right. And then this part is here. All right, now I want to take some scrap paper and I'm going to look at my punch because here's the pot that I'm going to cut out. And if I look at it, I'm going to want it on this end because if I put it down on this end, I'm going to punch this out and it's going to be white. So I'm going to do it on this end so that I can punch it out and not waste any paper. And I'm going to do that in Daffodil Delight, another bright color, a bright yellow. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp that pot. And I'm using one of our foam mats, our piercing mats, because with the photopolymer you get a better stamped image if you press it on something with cushion. So there is the other pot that I want. Okay, and then I'm going to look at this punch again. Right, I want this bigger cactus that's right here. I want one of those. And so I want it to be probably on this end. I'm going to do that on this end so that I don't waste paper again. So I'm going to bring my Granny Apple Green again. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that cactus. And then I'm going to line it up inside of that punch. And there is that punched. Okay. Now the last thing that I want is I want 3 of these little things. So if I look at where that is, it's that way. Okay, so I'm going to go like this, put my paper in, and I want the fatter part to be up on the end. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp 1. Whoa, that one's pretty close. 2 and 3. And I'll stick this in here. Punch 1. Now you could do these different shades of green, but because the green that I had chosen was Granny Apple Green, oh, look at that. I went too far on that one. Let's go this way. All right, am I still staying live or am I still freezing? I think I'm still freezing. I am so sorry, ladies. I don't know why I keep freezing. I think I'm okay now again. On mine, it keeps freezing up, and I don't know why. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some scraps of pink or the Magenta Madness. I have a scrap here, and I'm going to cut 3 of those flowers. 1, 2, and 3. And if you just make a small strip like that, you're not wasting too much paper. Okay, I'm going to put my stamps away. I'm going to put my ink away. And we're going to put this card together. See how it all comes together. Kind of have a mess here. Not going to lie, when stuff like this happens and I'm freezing up and all that other kind of stuff, then I worry about that more and I mess up some of my stamping. So I'm going to try to focus just on the stamping, and I'm really, really sorry if it's freezing up on you. Okay, going to bring this back in here. So here's going to be my other pot. I'm going to take one of these little guys. I'm going to put that here, and then I'm going to put this bigger one behind it, and then I'm going to build. Okay, I'm going to add there, and I'm going to kind of add. Okay, I think I'm back again. I am so sorry, ladies. You're not freezing, Karen. Okay, good. All right, I'm glad nobody else is freezing because mine keeps freezing up. All right, so maybe it's just my YouTube is freezing, or my Facebook, but my YouTube seems to be doing it as well. So I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, I am going to take a glue dot and I'm putting this on the front of this little cactus piece, and I'm going to just attach that like that. Okay, so that's just going to be attached right to the pot. Then I'm going to take a dimensional and I'm going to raise this up on dimensionals. Okay, and again, I don't want these at the same level. So I'm going to put that there, and then this I'm going to raise up on a dimensional as well. And you really only need one dimensional. You don't need a whole bunch of them. And I'm going to tuck that underneath there. Okay, then I'm going to put these on dimensionals. I think I need a mini dimensional for that. Grab a mini. I'm going to have that one go off in that direction. And I'm going to have this one go off in that direction. Isn't that fun? Okay, and then we're just going to take some glue dots, and I'm just going to put a couple of these flowers inside of here. So I'm going to put this one sort of right there. And actually, you know what? Let's put it on top of the little thing here. There we go. And then I'm going to put this one in here. And then I'm going to put this one kind of on the top. On my sample, I started down a little bit lower. So I'm kind of hanging off the top here, but that's going to be okay. Okay, isn't that fun? Oh, I just think this cactus stamp set is so, so fun. All right, then I'm going to take some of our, this is actually Bumblebee, but it's close enough to, I think, the Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to take a little bit of that. And I'm going to tie this a little bit differently than I did in my sample. I'm going to take some of the white baker's twine that you can get in an essential pack, and I'm going to tie it around here and tie it in a bow. Maybe I just have to not look at my video or not look at any of the comments or any of that kind of stuff and just keep going. Because every time I seem to look up, it looks like on mine that I'm freezing, and so I just have to ignore it, right? Because all the rest of you are telling me it's not freezing by you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and trim these up a little bit and trim this up. I'm going to leave this a little bit longer. Oh, that's so cute. All right, I can say that because I didn't come up with this. Somebody else actually kind of designed that. And then this I'm going to put on here on an angle. We're going to put a greeting on here yet, so just hang tight on that. Let's see, my bigger dimensionals are here. Pop this up on dimensionals. Make sure that it doesn't sag in the middle here. There's probably more dimensionals than I need, but I don't like to have saggy tags. So I put more on than I probably need. I'm just flicking all these dimensional backs off. And we'll kind of put that on an angle. This will get tucked in our envelope, so we'll be okay there. Okay, and then let's take a little strip of the Magenta Madness and our Versamark. And one of the greetings in that stamp set, which I just put away to get out of here, says just a note. Did I take it out at some point? It was in here. Do you see my stamp that says just a note anywhere? I do not see it, but through the magic of TV, I actually have that done somewhere. Here it is. So although I don't see the stamp here right now, I won't stamp it and put the white powder on, but I did do that before I came on here. I'm just gonna cut this. This is my new favorite cut, is to just cut it on a slant like that. I just think that looks so cool. And we are just gonna set that across here. Maybe we'll put it down here. Because I did it up a little bit more than I did on my original sample, I think I am going to put it down below a little bit. I'll show you what my first one looked like. You can tell me which one you liked better. We'll just set this right there. Just a note. Now we pop it open. And isn't that a fun card? Wouldn't you just smile if somebody sent you this? I mean, it's just a note, write a little thing, thinking of you, whatever it might be, and they can set it up on their table or on their counter. And how pretty is that, just to have that little cactus thing showing? I thought that that was so pretty when I saw it that I had to do it. Okay, here's the other one that I did. We got to add a little bling here, but I did my just a note across the side, and I started my pots a little bit lower. So which one do you like better? And here, I didn't tie it with a ribbon. I strung it through and tied a little knot on the top. So you tell me what you like better. You can mix and match because no card has to look exactly the same. But I am going to add just a little bit of bling. Got a couple of different sizes of these rhinestones, so we'll add one of each size and just kind of put them in different areas to add a little bling on there. I think my end is right here. There we go. Okay, so what do you think? The one I just did, I like the sentiment lower. Okay, good. And Diane likes that cut too. Awesome. Oh, thanks, Jayla. Jayla thinks it's a cute card. I thought it was kind of cute too. Here are the other samples that I did using the same layout. So this uses the marble paper and the rain boots. Okay, the floral rain boots. And so I cut this little piece out with Gorgeous Scrape, and then I cut it out with the Marvelous paper, and I just overlaid it. And then the tulips are there. And then on the inside, every storm that comes also ends. And it has the marble paper on the inside. So there's another example. And then had to do the windmill, right? So I did some of the tulip paper on the side. And then I did that tulip paper on the inside. And I had to put that little bike in there. I thought that was so cute. And then these are little, I looked at the different colors that were in the paper here of the tulips on the side. And I cut a whole bunch of those tulips and I layered them on top of each other and put that on there and then just added a few butterflies. The paper kind of looks like the sky, and so I just used that as my background. And so there's one with a windmill, just thinking of you today, the windmill and the bike. I had fun making these last night. So that is the card challenge. I'll bring the other one back in here. So you can either just focus on the designer series paper if you have a designer series paper that's a little bit busier. You could do something that has some stamping and use just regular cardstock instead of designer series paper and let your designer series paper just be your edges. You can do something that has a big die cut like this. You could do a combination of things. So this is die cutting some things and putting it on top of. This one I just did one layer rather than two layers. All these other ones I seem to have two layers, but this one just has the one piece. That's 3 and 3¾ by 4. So I just did one of those and then I cut all that stuff out. All right, so let me come back to you here. I apologize if it was going in and out on you. I hope that you thought that this is a fun fold that you want to try. If you try, like after this, I'm going to take a picture of the cards. I'm going to take a picture of the directions. I will post that on my Facebook page and it'll say this is the card challenge. So underneath there, if you post a picture of a card that you make, you will be put into a drawing for the chance to win the bundle of your choice. So you can pick out whatever bundle you want from any of the catalogs that are live. So, and if it's a bundle that happens to be not orderable right now, I can just wait until it is orderable, because I know like the rainbow ones are not right now. There's a couple of other ones, maybe the Horizon one. There's a couple of them that are not orderable right now. So thank you so much for joining me this Saturday morning. I had so much fun being with you. Minus the whole tech thing keep freezing up on my end. I'm just glad that it wasn't for most of you who are watching. Next Saturday, I do have a card buffet. So that means that I'm tied up in the morning with the people that are in my card buffet. So I'll be going live at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon next Saturday. That'll be a little bit of a difference. So if mornings are better for you, I apologize. You'll have to watch the replay. But otherwise, I will be live in the afternoon. And then it's just one more Saturday, and then I'm in Florida. Cannot wait for that. So this is our last full week of celebration. If there's something that you wanted in celebration, this is your last chance. Okay, so just wanted to remind you of that. And I will see you next week. Have a great weekend and have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.